Now it's time for the Ryno Sports Talk Games of the Week. So I have a couple things here. I'm recording this on Saturday, so I'm not sure what the wild card games or anything are yet. I'm assuming, based on what it is right now, it's going to be Jets and Texans, I think. No, Texans, Chiefs, Bengals, Jets is what it looks like right now. On the AFC side, and the NFC side is going to be like Vikings and Packers, or Vikings Seahawks, or Seahawks Packers. There's a lot of scenarios there. It's just gonna be interesting. I can't really predict that, but those wild card games are always really good. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see who, because it's gonna be the combination of the Packers, the Redskins or Washington football team, the Seahawks, and the Vikings. Some combination of those four are gonna play. I think, and those games are always going to be good. I think Washington could do some damage depending on what their matchup is. And then the Packers against whoever, if they play the Vikings again, they just played them this week, or they're going to play them this week. And if they play the Seahawks, that's going to be a really good game. See what Aaron Rodgers can do up against the Legion of Boom. And I'm going to have a little preview coming out next week for that, so be on the lookout for that. But moving on to the 5 biggest games of the week, or 4, sorry. I have on January 4th, which is Monday, at 7 o'clock. I don't know where it's streaming or showing or anything, but Oklahoma takes on Kansas, and obviously the polls haven't come out this week, but Michigan State lost. They were the number 1 last week, and they lost. They almost lost again, so they're dropping out of number 1. Kansas was the number 2, and Oklahoma was the number 3, so it is expected that they move up 1 slot, and this game will be a 1-2 matchup. This is in Allen Fieldhouse, so, and that hasn't had a 1-2 matchup in almost 45 years, or over 45 years, and that's going to be just a really good game. I think both those programs are top-notch. Oklahoma has Buddy Hield, and he's really good. Kansas is deep, as always. They have Perry Ellis. I can't think of their backcourt right now. I'd have to look it up to find their backcourt. But anyway, they're really good, and I think that both these teams may get 1 seeds. That's really up in the air now, but I think that'll come out later in a March Madness kind of prediction deal in another podcast. So going on to the second game of the week, we have on January 5th, 7 o'clock also, is Kentucky against LSU. And LSU isn't ranked, and Kentucky is number 10 in the nation. But the reason I like this game is because LSU has Ben Simmons, who's one of the best college basketball freshmen. He's a true freshman I've ever seen, and he does it all. He's 6'10", he's like 6'10", 6'11", almost 7 foot, and he's scoring about 20 a game. He's grabbing almost 15 rebounds a game, but he's also averaging like 9.5 or almost 10 assists a game. And he's getting rebounds, he's getting blocks, he's guarding the best guys, he's jumping over everyone. He's just insanely athletic, and he should be the number 1 pick. But then Kentucky's also got another big man named Skal Labissiere, and he's just as athletic as Simmons, and well, maybe not as athletic, but he's not as skilled either. But they're all on the same level. They're both freshmen. I think this is going to be a great matchup to see what is going to be. How does one of these guys separate from the other, and see what's going to happen there. And then I'm going to move on to January 6th. It's a NBA game, and as I was looking through the weekly schedule, I didn't see any real big time games. I mean, the Warriors are playing games, but they're against scrubs, and I didn't really think that was I didn't think it was good to pick those guys. But I saw this one game kind of piqued my interest just a little bit. I know Russell Westbrook is having a good season this year, and him and the Thunder are playing the Grizzlies on the 6th, and I think the biggest question on this one is, can Mike Conley lock down Westbrook, or at least contain him a little bit, and what can they do with Durant on defense? And I don't see, I mean, the Grizzlies are going to stay in this because they're always a good team, but I don't know how long they're going to stay into this or what's going to go down for them. It's going to be an interesting game. Defensively, they match up pretty well, but offensively, I don't think the Grizzlies have the firepower to stay with the Thunder. when Conley and a couple other guys are on the bench. So there's that. And then the last game of the week is kind of a weaker one, but it's Villanova and Butler on the 10th, and that's projected to be a top 15 matchup. And I think Villanova is always usually good during the preseason. Butler's always good, always. Ever since they had Brad Stevens at coach, and he was one of the best, or they're usually one of the best teams. They go pretty deep in the tournament every year, so it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what they do there, what's gonna happen, that kind of deal. I don't know. I don't really have a pick for this one. I haven't really watched much college basketball. I've seen a couple of Simmons' games, watched a little bit of Kansas, and not really much else. I don't really know anything. I'm going to start picking it up a little bit more out here since football's done. It's really hard with it being on other networks that I don't get at my school, but I'll figure out a way to make it work. So that's it for my games of the week, and that's it for the podcast too. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe. Leave some comments down below on what you guys thought. I will be doing this again where I split them up and then do one big podcast also, so I'll have 5 different videos up. If you want to see them in order, I'll have them in order, part 1 through 5 and all that stuff. But yep. And then so on this week's blog on rynosportstalk.wordpress.com, link in the description, you can see I had last week, I talked about a little preview for the semifinal games, but this week I'm talking about NFL playoffs and what to look forward to in it and the matchups and stuff, and that should be going up Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know what the kind of thing is, but it's going to be just the format of it, but I'm going to be previewing the playoffs, at least the wild card games, and maybe a little bit after that. It really depends. So yep, we'll see on that, and that'll be out Thursday at rynosportstalk.wordpress.com. Link in the description again. If you guys like and enjoyed, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment any comments you guys got. So have a good day.